It's food basket time again. Our September basket once again had a new veggie that we have never had in the basket before, and that is a rutabaga. So if you've never cooked with rutabaga before, it's actually packed full of fiber. It's a good source of potassium and vitamin C, and it's pretty versatile. For as a root vegetable, you could take this and you could go back to the hash recipe that I did at the very beginning and substitute some of the potato for rutabaga, and that would turn out really well. Something else you can do with this rutabaga is you could peel it and chop it up into squares, and you can cook it with carrot and then mash the two together. So the sweetness of the carrot, this is a fairly sweet vegetable, but it also has just a little bit of a stronger taste to it, so the carrot kind of mellows out that flavor really good with some butter, maybe a little bit of salt, and maybe some fresh herbs. But today we are going to take this and we're going to turn it into rutabaga fries, which is my family's favorite way to enjoy rutabaga. So all you need to do for that is you're going to cut off this top piece here. I usually cut off the bottom here, peel it, and then slice it, and then chop it into fry-sized pieces. And then once you did that, come back and we will put some oil on it and spice it up and bake it in the oven. So I'll see you in a few minutes. I have my rutabaga all cut up into fries. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little, I have avocado oil on them. You can use whatever oil you happen to have. A little bit of oil, just drizzle that till they're nicely covered. And then you can season them. So when my husband makes them, he likes to put rosemary on them. We've done them with steak spice, we've done them with Cajun spice to make them a little spicy. Today I'm just going to use a little Italian seasoning on them. And we will salt them, but I like to salt them at the end when they're just hot out of the oven. So I'm going to hold off on the salt for now. So I'm just stirring that up so that they all get nicely covered in the oil. And I've got my oven set for 425, so it needs to be a fairly warm oven to roast the rutabaga. Another thing you can do if you don't want to do a fry shape is you can also roast them in smaller pieces and just have it on the side as a roast vegetable, so that's an option too. But I like the fry shape, it's kind of fun. And then I just arrange these on a baking sheet so that they're not touching. So I just kind of spread them out with my hands. And I have a Silpat, a silicone sheet on here so that they don't stick. You could use parchment paper. If you don't have either one of those things, you could just use aluminum foil, or you could just stick them on the pan. Okay, so once I have those all separated, then they're ready to go in the oven. So 425 for 20 minutes. And then I'm going to flip them so that both sides get brown, and then another 20 minutes. Sometimes I'll check them at 15 just to make sure that they're not over browning. So 15 or 20, and then they should be done. So I'm just going to stick those in the oven. And while those are cooking, we're going to create a really simple dipping sauce. So this is really, really easy. As long as you have mayonnaise and some spices, you can make this sauce. And all it is, it's a little bit of mayonnaise. So depending on however many people you are feeding, you'll know how much you need. So I'm just going to put a little bit in there, and then whatever spice you like. So my husband's favorite is the Cajun, so it's just the mayonnaise and a Cajun mixed spice mixed together until it tastes good, so that's his favorite. And then my favorite is curry, so it's the same thing, it's just the mayonnaise, and I don't measure, I just sprinkle it in until it looks good, and then I mix it all up. And then I have a dipping sauce for my rutabaga fries when they come out of the oven. So that's a super simple sauce you can make. Whatever your favorite spice is, give it a try. You can put dill in there, make a dill dip. If you had a ranch mix, you could put a ranch in there. So the opportunities are endless. Just a very simple dip that you can have with them. So we'll just wait for that to cook, and then we'll take a look at them when they're done. I just pulled the rutabaga fries out of the oven. So you can see they're nicely toasted brown and hopefully a little bit crispy. And now is the time I like to sprinkle them with a little salt. And then once you do that, you are ready to enjoy. So I've got my little dipping sauce here. I should mention you can also make your dipping sauce with yogurt. If you've got plain yogurt, you can flavor it in the same way or mix of both, mayonnaise and yogurt. So I've got my fries, I've got my dipping sauce, and I am ready to enjoy. The second recipe we're going to make today makes use of our cucumber and tomato, and it's just a very simple cucumber and tomato salad. This is a great recipe for those busy days when you just want to throw something together and have something really good to eat, but you don't want to spend a lot of time doing it. And of course you can always throw a salad together quickly, but if you want something different, this is that recipe. And there's some other things you can add to it. So cucumbers and tomatoes. You could also add some green onion if you have it, or red onion. A little celery if you have celery. If you've got some fresh basil or any fresh herb, you might want to put that in as well. So all you need to do is take your cucumber, chop that up into fine pieces. Same thing with your tomatoes. I would cut those into halves or quarters, and then chop up your celery and onion or anything else you want to throw in, and then we're going to come together and make the dressing. In this bowl, I have my cucumber all chopped up, as well as some celery, some green onion, some tomato. Then I threw in some chopped basil, and I threw in some olives as well. I've got black, but you could also use green. So once you have all your veggies all chopped up nice, and it could just be cucumber and tomato. If that's all you've got, that's what you could put in. You could put even some dried basil or some dried herbs as well if you want. And then we're ready for the dressing, and the dressing is super simple. It's just 2 ingredients. So one is olive oil, and then the second one is vinegar. I learned this recipe from my mom. She likes a 1-to-1. She likes the little bite of the vinegar in her salad. So if that's what you like too, if you like that acidic taste, then you could do 1 tablespoon of oil to 1 tablespoon of vinegar. If you want it to be a little more subtle, you could do 2 tablespoons of oil to 1 tablespoon of vinegar. And you could also, instead of using vinegar, you could also use freshly squeezed lemon. I've done it that way before as well, and also really enjoyed it. So today I am going to do a tablespoon of oil, and I have balsamic vinegar, but it would really work with any vinegar at all that you have. White wine vinegar, red wine vinegar, apple cider vinegar, all of those would work nicely. And I'm going to give that a stir and see if that is enough. And I think for the amount of veggies I have in here, that is enough. If you've got more veggies, you're probably going to want to do that again. Another tablespoon of olive oil, another tablespoon of vinegar. And if you can, if you've got the time, let that sit for a little bit. Let the flavors kind of mellow and blend together. So maybe if you're making dinner, you can make that first while the other things are cooking, and then just leave it and let it sit. But if not, go ahead and eat it right away. I also just like to put a little sprinkle of salt on there. So you can do that as well. Black pepper if you like black pepper. And that's it. It's a super simple side salad for whatever you're making for your meal. Also be really good next to scrambled eggs. We've done that before here, so that's another, or on a steak. So again, all kinds of things you could do with that. Enjoy the salad, and we will see you next time.